All right, we have the reigning defending one championship heavyweight champ, Brandon the Truth Vera, on the program. You can catch him hopefully defending his title soon, but in the meantime, you'll be able to catch him on the Apprentice One Championship Edition in the near future. Brandon, how are you, sir?
I'm very, very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So one thing I wanted to touch on right off the bat, I saw a few months back that you became a father. Congratulations to you and the family. And the way you described it, those first moments of seeing your child coming into the world, it brought me back around 7 years or so when my son was born. I had the same exact reaction you had. There's just no better feeling on earth than that, right?
That's very cool. Thank you very much. I'm smiling so big. Yeah, man. Like, I don't know how to describe it, man. Like, yeah, it's just, man, if you can, you have to experience it. If you can, you have to. It's amazing, man. Congratulations on your baby 7 years ago.
I know, it's crazy, right? Wow. I know. He was yelling and screaming at me this morning before I took him to school. So I have to remember those nicer days where you know what I mean? And you'll experience that at some point. But how have you been enjoying fatherhood thus far?
I love it. I love hanging out with him. I love all of it. I don't like changing poopy Pampers.
Nobody does.
That's part of the gig. Other than that, man, he is awesome. Like, we lose hours just hanging out with him, like just listening to him talk, watching what he's doing. Like, I'm like, man, I should be doing something else. Like, no, I don't really have to be doing anything else right now. So, and we just lose time with him, hanging out with him. It's really, really cool.
It's the best, man. It's the best. It's a good sleeper.
Dude, he just so he started becoming a good sleeper. Then he went through this little thing for 2 weeks where he wasn't, and now he's sleeping again, like 6 to 8 hours through the night now again.
Wow,
it's crazy. So yeah, he's a good sleeper. Yeah, he's just going through. I guess they go through different patterns.
Yeah,
but
the teething, and then there's the growing pains and all that stuff. Oh, God bless you. Just all sorts of fun stuff to look forward to. But congratulations to that to you, of course. But this has just been a wild year overall. So in a wild year, that was obviously a great blessing. But like we stated at the top, you're going to be part of the Apprentice One Championship Edition, along with names such as, to name a few, Demetrius Johnson, Ben Askren, George St. Pierre, and many others. I know you've been doing some filming already. How have you been enjoying it? And are you able to discuss your role on the program?
So I'm pretty sure I can tell you guys I am a mentor / coach on the program. I don't think I can talk much more about that other than the challenges are awesome. The questions that they ask and have to answer are awesome. Man, I learned a lot being on that show. Filming was a breeze. It was the film crew in Singapore, the one championship edition for The Apprentice. Those guys are class A. The contestants, they're all cool, and they all have their own quirky little thing about them. Man, I don't know how to explain it. It was fun. It was really, really fun. I'm glad I got to be a part of that. I can't believe the plethora of superstars they had guesting on the show and doing that. So it was really cool to see. And it's really cool to see maybe normal people, I guess you could say, working through the physical aspect before they have to go do the mental aspect. That's cool. That's really, really cool. So I'm really excited to watch this one championship edition of The Apprentice.
Did you think when you got into the sport and started evolving in your career that someday in 2020 or sometime in your career you'd be mentoring in a reality show that's like not just about MMA but the business world and all sorts of other stuff like that?
No. Short answer, no. What? Do what? Yeah. None of this made sense. None of this mathematically made sense. You're not supposed to do this and end up over here, but things have changed. Times have changed. And I guess Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he was the first one to do it big from the sports world moving into the entertainment industry, you know? So I guess a lot of people have got to follow him. And there's a lot more opportunities now. You need action heroes. You don't have to go train nobody. You don't have to fake anything. You have action heroes all over the place, ready to go jump off buildings and do fight scenes in 2 takes instead of 80. You know, it's really cool. The whole world's leveling up, and it's nice to be able to have these different opportunities, you know. Thank you, One Championship. Thank you very much.
You will take it. Speaking of one, and speaking of your fighting career, we haven't seen you compete since the loss to Angla a little over a year ago. You were scheduled to face Arjun Buller in May, I believe, before that event was canceled due to the pandemic. And, you know, you've obviously had a lot of things going on this year with The Apprentice, becoming a dad and all, and you fought like once a year or so for the last several years. So how has Brandon Vera, the fighter, the heavyweight champion, how have you dealt with this crazy year?
You know, so after the loss to Champ Angla, I was going to be competing 2 times a year. That's what I want to do. Pandemic hit, the world went upside down. So really, the world has been just moving at my pace. Instead of me competing twice this year, I'll just be doing 1 this year. You know, again, like it'll be a year and a half, I believe, when we finally get back in. But it's my normal pace. This is what I've been doing anyways my entire career. So I'm on track for how I've been doing. I just want to be more active and finishing up. I want to go ahead and burn the candle at both ends and get them all in now, especially with all the recent signings for One Championship. I know there's a lot of guys chomping at the bit to get in there with me, and I want to make it happen. So, you know, but can I really complain about anything for all the stuff that's happened in the world and people that have lost everything from their life savings to their houses to the families to some people their lives? You know, I have no right to complain or bitch and moan about anything. So I just take it in stride, stay in shape. We stay sharpening the sword and we stay ready to get ready. My next match will be with Mr. Arjun Buller. We are competing. We already have the contract signed, a date scheduled, ready to go before all of this hit. And I'm hoping and expecting to fight first quarter of the year, 21. I have a movie to finish in the Philippines, and I have some endorsement stuff to finish up still that we were actually shooting and got the call of the lockdown while we are on set. So
oh, really?
We still have a bunch of stuff to finish that the world stopped. So everybody's excited to see me compete and get back in, and I love it, but I still have stuff to finish. You know, my timeline didn't change just because the world's timeline changed, and it's a hard balance. So we have to make sure that that everything is like this. Being a dad, though, that I don't think I have to balance that. He just is with me all the time, so it's okay. At the gym, in the gym, wherever, he's just there with me, so it's cool.
That's awesome. So the first quarter you're thinking?
I'm thinking March, April.
Okay.
April is what I'm thinking, just because we have to finish that movie, man. I have to finish that damn movie.
What movie is it? Can you talk about it?
Man. So the movie is about a virus.
What?
Yeah, man. What the hell?
Oh man. Do you have a lot left to finish? Because you know more. You probably have so much. You have so much knowledge with it now. You could probably just walk in there and just knock it out of the park.
You know, it's an action movie. So we had, before the shutdown, we had probably like 6 days left to film. But now, because we've had time, they got to add more stuff. The trailer looks amazing. Like, I cannot wait to see the movie myself. Just as a fan, like, I'm just watching, like, that's me. Ooh, wow. Like, I'm just watching the action scenes, and like, it's a zombie movie. It starts from a virus. So I'm excited to film it. It was 6 days left, but now with everything that's happening. They got to write more. It's probably gonna be like 10 days, 15 days left to film. So I'm just excited to get started and finish that project still again.
Right. You mentioned some interesting additions to the roster. Tom DeBlas, Amir Ali Akbari makes his one debut on Friday. Marcus Almeida, he's signed as well.
Hold on.
And,
so for people like me, you say Marcus Almeida. I had no idea who Marcus Almeida was until somebody off on the side said, "Hey, that's Bachecha." oh my God. That's how much of a fanboy I am of his. You know, I don't even know his real name. I just know Bachecha.
That's so funny. So that must have been a great signing. And then immediately Ali Akbari started calling for you right away. Like the ink hadn't even dried on his one contract yet. And already he's making social media images of you guys side by side, fight posters and such. You got to respect the gusto, right?
Why?
Why not? Shooting for the stars.
Yeah, let him shoot. He hasn't got here yet. He's not even on the ground yet. Get your first one in, get your feet wet. Then I'll hang out with you. Bro, you better respect the heavyweights in front of you. Better stop worrying about me. This one championship. This isn't some little other rinky-dink organization that they hooked you up. You could get hooked up here and fall asleep. So make sure you're paying attention who's in front of you first. So yeah, him calling me out and wanting to do all that stuff, it's like Connor to me again. It sounds like Connor all over again. Bro, just do what you have to do first. And now we're gonna meet up. If you're that good, we're gonna meet up. I promise we're gonna meet up.
It's what's interesting about like kind of the spot he's in, because like you said with Connor, like if you go out there and you talk that greasiness and you back it up, you can become a star very quickly in this sport. But if you go out there and talk the greases and lose or get stopped, fans like to play the point and ha-ha game. And
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Our fans love us and hate us at the same time. It's part of the game. But you know, when you claim to be the biggest alpha, the best alpha in the world, and you're the best warrior in the world, that's what they expect that day, you know? I get it. That's part of the gig. That's what we signed up for. It's not just the good days. You got to take all the bad days with it. So, man, I'm excited for all of the matches coming up. Like, I'm really, really excited. And he just happens to be one of them. I think I was playing a game, and I think I ranked him number 2 in the division under Arjan. So, man, if you're that good, we're gonna meet each other anyways.
But you got to get that. He's got to get that first one out of the way. He's got to win on Friday, right?
Get that first one out of the way. Stop worrying about me. Better worry about what's in front of you.
I mean, look at a guy like Jake Paul, right? YouTuber, running his mouth, he's calling out Connor, calling out Floyd, Ben Askren, Masvidal, all these folks, and people want to see him lose. And then he goes out there and flatlines Nate Robinson, which, listen, it is what it is, but everybody's talking about him. Did you watch that on Saturday, by the way?
Yeah, I saw it. Whoever is sanctioning that fight for Jake Paul, they need to get in trouble. Like, because those aren't professional athletes, you know, and they're taking big hits. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, that's not a professional sport when they're treating it like one. So if they're going to treat it like one, you need to be competing against some professionals then, Mr. Jake Paul, and find out what it's really like. I have my own opinions of that guy anyways, of that kid. It is what it is. It's entertainment, you know. It's all entertainment. So I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing, but be careful what you ask for. That's my advice for everybody. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. What did you think of Tyson Jones? I thought it was a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was so cool, man. It was like watching a master class on boxing. And you know, everybody was talking shit about Roy Jones Jr. Sorry, I'm cussing, but Roy Jones Jr. Being tired after the second round. It's like, come on, man. Even if he was tired after the second round, he still would beat 99.99% of y'all into the ground. And with that happening, it was beautiful to watch both of the athletes do their thing. Like Mr. Jones Jr. he still hit Tyson with the no-look jab. He got to move around a lot. He got to make Tyson miss. He tied him up a lot. And then Mr. Mike Tyson still doing it. Man. So this is a no-knockout event, which I think makes a lot of sense. Those guys have proven themselves. Like, what's it called? The Legends League? I would love to see something like that. Those guys have proven themselves. They don't need to be tough no more. But the techniques that those guys can show, and the styles and the footwork and the head movement and the fancy stuff they can do during the exhibition bout, Tyson showed the world that he can still do Tyson. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then he was doing the reverse hook angle on both sides. I was like, oh my God, man, this guy could kill somebody. I think if it was a boxing match, Mr. Roy Jones was definitely unprepared for that. If that would have been a fight, Tyson would have knocked him out, I think. But to see both of them be able to work and move and do their thing, it was a blessing. It was a blessing for us old school heads who've been watching them since back in the day before they retired, and then it's a blessing for the new kids on the block who have no idea what real boxing is.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got flashbacks. You know what I mean? Like those, going back and watching like some of those old training videos with Coos and stuff, man. Throwing those hooks, it was just gnarly to go in there and watch. And I don't know, like I think everyone's expectations were so all over the place that it was just so fun to watch. Like I didn't care that it was a draw at the end of the day. I didn't care about any of that. Those guys got to go in there and move around. And I think Brandon, that Mike Tyson that we saw on Saturday beats the Mike Tyson from 2005. I think he's better. Cares more. I don't know.
I can agree with that. I'm not gonna say physically. Like if you took that young ass Mike Tyson, oh my God.
Oh, the guy for yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. But yeah, I think emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and I think this Mike Tyson is way more mature and would have kept the world as his oyster, as opposed to younger Tyson who was still finding his way, who's still becoming that man. So it was good to see. It was really cool. And for me, like I didn't expect a fight. I just expected a show. And it was a good show. People got hit. They were getting lit up still once in a while. It would be a good jab come through or a good box. I remember Tyson got one in and was like, oh.
Yeah, that was a good one. In the 7th round, I think. Landed right to the body. Yeah, that was you could hear the thumps. Yeah, it was good.
They were still giving it to each other, it's sorry, it's like hard sparring. So it was really, really cool to see. Man, both of them got to show off. It was cool. Both of them got to do their thing still.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy Snoop on the desk?
I didn't see Snoop on the desk, actually. I only saw the fight from round 1 to round 8. Jake Paul, I saw the last round on his clip. So I didn't see Snoop on the desk at all. I didn't see any.
You didn't hear him at all?
No, sir, I did not.
Oh, good for you, man. Listen, I liked him in the Jake Paul Nate Robinson fight. I thought it was fine. Like you were in there, you did your thing. Like him on the Contender Series, hated it. Could not stand it. It was terrible. Him in that spot made sense. Like in a celebrity boxing match, Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson, perfect. Then he performed for like 14 minutes. Like all of his hits, it just seemed like it was just forever and ever. And yeah, it was crazy. And then he joins Morrow, Sugar Ray, and Israel Adesanya in the booth and is calling the main event too. Like I was snooped out at that point. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like his show. He's trying to be like the new Ryan Seacrest. Yeah, that's a lot of Snoop, man.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of Snoop. Whoa, it's a lot, man. It's not even a movie. It's just a show.
It's a sporting event. Oh man. I wanted to get your take on something before we let you go. I appreciate you giving me so much time. We're just shooting the breeze here, but I saw. I'm sure you've seen it as well. An old opponent of yours is making the move up to the heavyweight division. Jon Jones vacated the light heavyweight title. Now he's focused on this new challenge. What are your thoughts on that? And how do you think he stacks up against the Stipes, the Ngannous, maybe the Brandon Veras of the world in 2020, 2021?
I think that if Jon Jones puts his mind together and gets his, I guess really just his brain, gets his mind right, he could still be a force to reckon with. He's always dangerous inside of the circle or wherever he's fighting, the octagon but man, he can't stop being Jon Jones. And that's the problem, you know. He could do so much more for the world if he could figure that part out. And that kind of, it makes me sad about him, man, because this kid, man, he could do so much for the world if he would just stop being that guy. I don't even know how to say it, you know, like he's just being that guy. Him moving up to heavyweight is definitely a cool thing. I would absolutely love to do a super fight at heavyweight. I would absolutely love that. I welcome it. He's faster than the guys at heavyweight, but heavyweights hit a little bit different. When they hit you, even if you block, even if you move out the way, even if you take some off, it stings just a little bit more. It was like, oh, heavyweights are slow. Okay, they're slow until they touch you one time. Then you slow down. Then they touch you again. Oh, you slow down again. So I think it's going to be a good move for him. Entertaining for the fans, for sure, if he can keep it together.
Yeah. I think one thing we sort of learned from Mike Tyson through this whole thing is that it's never too late. It's never too late to get it together, because that man has gone through so much in his life, and like even just physically and emotionally too, over the last probably like 5 or 6 years. And just to see like the physical and mental shape he got himself in to prepare himself for this fight, it was outstanding.
Yep. Yeah, man. You know, it's never ever too late. And man, what's your excuse? It's Mike Tyson, man. Fucking Mike Tyson. Your life was not as hard as this guy's. You didn't go through all the bullshit that he went through. You didn't have somebody rob you at the peak of your career. You didn't have people trying to fight you for lawsuits. Like, dude, your life is nowhere near as hard as what that guy went through. So, man, like you said, it is possible. You can get it back together. You just need to want to get it together. And maybe it's just too many yes men around that guy. I don't know if that's what it is, and I don't know. Maybe he needs a new group of friends. It happens, you know? Happens.
Yeah. I mean, it would be very interesting to see you and Jon fight over a decade later. That'd be fascinating.
I would absolutely love and welcome that, you know? He definitely taught me something that day. He taught me a lot about myself. I would love that. I got goosebumps just thinking about that.
What did he teach you? Like, what sticks out? What kind of sticks out at the top of the list there?
Always be humble. Always. I remember when we were on our feet, we were dancing. He couldn't touch me on my feet. I remember just moving stuff out the way and parrying and just slipping out the way. And I remember the look of panic on his face. I'm telling an interview, Jones, you can tell the story how you want. I remember your eyes. I remember how you looked. And then he shot it and took me down. I was like, man, you're supposed to be this amazing stand-up guy. Why would you take me down? Like, man, this guy is horrible. And I remember I just boot kicked him off me and stood back up. I was like, man, you can't even hold me on the ground. Man, this guy. And so I start dancing even more. Like, oh, I'm gonna start whooping this guy's ass. Like I start feeling myself on the feet, you know. But this guy wants nothing to do with it. He's just moving away. He's supposed to be the second coming of Jesus Christ, and supposed to be really good at this. Come on, man, let's do this. And he took me down again. And I remember thinking, like, this guy, listen, while I'm on my back, this guy's trying to work on top of me. And I'm just pummeling with him, like, this guy. Everybody thinks that this guy's that good. He throws an elbow, I move out the way. Like, come on, man. And in my head, I said, man, this guy fucking. And right when I got the first S out, what? That's when he elbowed me on my face and broke my face. And when I grabbed my face and turned belly down.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, like, what the hell was that? And I was sitting there holding my face. And I'd never felt nothing like that before. Even to this day, like all the injuries and all the surgery and stuff, never had no pain like that before. It wasn't an orbital fracture. It was a tripod fracture. So my face broke here, here, and here. Like this whole bone caved in. And as I'm holding my face and I'm like thinking, what the hell was that? Next thought was, that's what you get. That's what you get, asshole. That's what you get for being so cocky. That's what you get for talking shit during a fight. That's what you get for thinking too much of yourself. So thanks, Mr. Jones. That's something I definitely learned and never ever forgotten to this day. So I take that with me all the time. You know, no matter how the match is going, in less than a second, it can go the other way. It can go the other way mid-thought, man.
You gave me chills just like you telling that story. It was just wild to get your side of that, because I think this is the first time you and I have chatted, and I got to tell you, this will not be the last time because I have enjoyed this very much. But before we get to Jon Jones super fights or anything like that, our John Buhler is first. Hopefully we see back that happen. You know, March, April, like it's planned, sooner rather than later. I think everyone wants to see it at this point. But again, congrats on fatherhood, Brandon. Happy holidays. All the best to you and the family, man. I appreciate the time today.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. You guys stay awesome. I'll talk to you guys again soon.